I've been grinding on Rivals a lot recently, bro. Mostly because I'm trying to hit Lord with Spider-Man and it's hella hard, I'm not gonna lie. But, I love Marvel Rivals, and in today's video, I want to put more to the roster. I know they have plenty of characters, and I'm pretty sure they have even more characters planned. But I want to give my list of more characters that I would like to see. Number one, I think this is easily a no-brainer to me at least, Kamala Khan. Now, I don't really like Kamala Khan in the MCU, and I also don't like the way how they change her power and how she's a mutant nowadays instead of a inhuman. But let's be honest, bro, who knows anything really about the Inhumans? Like, out of every single Marvel team, you have Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Avengers, yada yada yada. Inhuman is easily the worst team in my opinion. I don't give a damn about them. But okay, Marvel Rivals, I want them to add Kamala Khan. I think it would be cool if she was a tank instead of a duelist. And that's one thing that will be very important in this video. I only have one character who I would like as a duelist. Other than that, almost all the characters on my list are tanks. And I would like Kamala Khan to be a tank as well. I think she could be cool. For her ult ability, I would probably give her, Embiggen type, when she becomes big and stuff. Huge fist and everything. I know people are going to be like, isn't she a little bit similar to Mr. Fantastic in terms of power set? Yes and no. I feel like you can make their moves different from each other. And on this list, I also have a character who might be similar, and I'll get to him soon. But yeah, Kamala Khan. Just a heads up, I have a lot of tanks on this list because mostly I either play duelist or tank. I'm not really that much of a strategist player. I do play strategist sometimes, and when I do play strategist, we always win because I'm just that goated. But anyways, the next tank I want on the list, or I want in Rivals, is Sentry. I wasn't really that familiar. I'm not gonna act like I know that much about Sentry, his comic book history. I knew about him as a character before Thunderbolts, but it was Thunderbolts that really made me like him. And I know it's not 100% accurate to the comics, but how many times do we have to say this? Comic accuracy doesn't equal everything. Yada, yada, yada. But I would like them to add Sentry. And for his ult, I would love it if they somehow... I don't know how it would work exactly, But I would love if he had Void as his ult. I don't know what you're gonna do exactly. Maybe you can stun your enemies temporarily. Similar to Doctor Strange's ult, but... Sentry is a go for me. I'm gonna be honest, the character I have on next is not really one I love, and it's mostly because of the movies, but Captain Marvel. I think it would be also cool if she were to be a tank and also a flying tank. 2 flying tanks, that's cool in my opinion. Look, I hate Angela in the game. Not really like playing as her, I just suck playing as her, and I hate how many times I get grabbed by her, but also... At the same time, I like the idea of more flying tanks. And I wouldn't want them to make Carol Danvers walk on the ground similar to how they did my boy Adam Warlock. I think it's best or even cooler to make Carol Danvers fly and give her all her awesome unique powers. I don't know that much about Carol Danvers either, if I'm being honest, because I genuinely do not care about her character. But the reason why I want to see her in Rivals is I think she can fill out a good tank role. And I also think, her ult, I don't know what I would do for it. Maybe you guys can let me know. But Carol Danvers. And after her, I have the first and the only duelist on this list. Nova. Whether we're going with the Sam Nova or Ryder Nova, I don't know which one you want to pick or choose. Me personally, I'm going with Sam. I love the original Nova, but Sam has always been Nova to me. So I would like to have Sam, and also honestly making him a duelist would be nice. Similar to how Human Torch is a duelist, but I would want them to focus a lot more on his mobility instead of... Because every time I play with Human Torch, I'm good enough, I guess, but a lot of the times whenever a Spider-Man's around or there's a dive character that can easily kill me out of the sky, I normally always die because I don't have that much movement. And whenever I try to run away, my healers don't always help me. And it's not like I'm blaming healers, But I'm not fast enough. And I would like the idea of Nova to be fast, but also do his character justice and give him enough power so that he can use it on the battlefield. I think it would be also very cool to have Nova and Miss Marvel on the same team. If you catch my drift, you see what I'm doing there, where I'm going. But yeah, I lied. You know, I originally I only wanted to have one duelist on this list, but I have to put Nightcrawler. I love the amount of love the X-Men are getting in recent years. They're my favorite Marvel family out of the entire Marvel bunch, and seeing how Marvel Rivals does a lot of them justice. Yeah, a lot of them justice. I would love for them to do one of my favorite X-Men's or X-Men, Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler, and I think, I can see how maybe him being a duelist could be a little bit OP, with his teleporting and all. But I don't think they should only focus on him being able to teleport from here and there. And I also don't think they're gonna make it that OP. I want Nightcrawler to be a very hand-to-hand type of fighter and also be able to retreat fast enough because, he can teleport. But also don't make his teleporting so overpowered to where this guy can teleport like 50 meters to base. And I know they're not gonna do it, but hey, we'll never find out until he comes. And I would love Nightcrawler to be in the game. I think he's such an awesome character. And he's one of my favorite X-Men. Oh, and this might also be a hot take, but if they are obviously going to add his teleporting, I don't think it only should be a one-time use. I think similar to how Spider-Man has his web swinging and it's like three times, similar to Nightcrawler. Give him a 3-time where he can teleport some maybe here or there or wherever he aims. Next on the list, I have, this might be a little bit out there, and I'm not sure a lot of people might know who she is, but I have faith. Enchantress. Asgard is present in this game, I'm pretty sure, and we also have Loki, we have Angela, we have Thor, and I think all of them were done justice, including Angela. I like her, and Loki, of course, she's voiced by the GOAT. But yeah, give me Enchantress, and I think making her a strategist is like the only option, really. I don't see her being a duelist. I absolutely do not want her as a tank, but I think strategist, I think that would work. And if they add Enchantress, I would like for her to be similar in terms of being a strategist. I don't want her to be like similar to Gambit, where Gambit feels more like a duelist, but he is a strategist, in the game. And I love playing as Gambit, but I want her to be more similar to somebody like either Sue Storm or, what's his name? Mantis. I think that would be so awesome. And for Enchantress, she wears green, so give her a comic accurate suit. I don't know what her ult would be exactly, but I'm sure, give her a healing ult like all the other healers. But enough with the entire zone healing. I love it, but I think when you give each character in the game like an ult that heals everybody's automatically just like that, I don't think it works. Give her maybe something destructive, similar to how Ultron has. He's a strategist, but his ult isn't like used to heal everybody. Give her a destructive ult. Something powerful that can do damage to the opposite team. But maybe also you can choose if you want a damage buff, or you want for your team, or you want to heal your entire team. I think that would be cool and give her a little bit more of a skill ceiling. I literally cannot go almost a single video without mentioning Spider-Man. And I don't want to put a Spider-Man character. I think we already have enough. No, not enough, but I mean, like, Spider-Man is a massive part in this game. He has the most skins, and, he's a hard character to play as. I should know. I'm trying to hit Lord with him. But if there's a Spider-Man character I really want, and it's probably one of my favorite Spider-Man villains of all time, I want Rhino. I think adding Rhino to the roster as a tank would be so cool, and giving him a charge ability, like him running towards you with his big ass horn, it would be so cool. And it would be similar to how Ben Grimm, the Thing, charges to you and he can stun enemies. And I think having him as a tank and the cool dialogue options he can have with Spider-Man and other heroes would be awesome. So yeah. Also, I think I can't believe I'm saying this, bro. I think his alt lines can be so funny, bro. Like, You can either do something extremely serious, or you have the opportunity to mention his horn, wink wink. But yeah, Rhino would be cool. Another Spider-Man character I have on the list is Miles. Now hear me out. I don't want Miles as a legendary skin because I feel like he has different abilities that can be different enough for his own character, and I would love to see him be his own character. And for Miles, honestly, I would say give him a strategist role, because having two Spider-Men who are both duelists and who both imagine people insta-locking Peter Spider-Man and then insta-locking Miles. I think it wouldn't be a good thing. I think having Miles more as a strategist and making him heal you with, I guess, maybe his electricity. I don't know. Can electricity heal people? Huh. Yeah, but I don't think, we don't need to use logic. Just make Miles a strategist. Give him similar abilities to Peter, and I want him to add his electric constructs that he has in some of the more recent comics. I think those are cool, even though I think, it makes him an entirely different character at this point. But I like having him have better electricity powers. His camouflage ability would also be cool, and it would be nice if, similar to Invisible Woman, if you go camouflage mode, or, you can heal automatically, you can heal yourself. And with your electricity, you can heal your teammates. I also want him to swing similarly, but I want him to be a more, not really a dive type character. He's a strategist, so I want him to be a bit more of a passive player, while Peter can be the main dive character. And I also want him to be similar into Gambit's fighting style, to the point where he's similar to a duelist, but he's still a strategist enough to be a strategist, I don't know what I'm talking about, but get to the point. I mentioned this man in a previous video once, but I think adding him in Rivals, he's part of the original 6 Avengers. Him and his wife both. Hank Pym, Ant-Man, and Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. I think adding them as strategists would be cool, similar to Cloak and Dagger. Before you ask me, I don't know how it would work adding Ant-Man, a guy who can shrink and become big, and the Wasp, who pretty much shoots lasers out of her hands. But I think it can work somehow. Just don't make it annoying to the point where he can be invisible for shrink for a very long time. For their ult, I think it's pretty obvious. Wait, no, that's actually not that obvious. I think the Wasp should heal people, and then maybe Ant-Man can become giant and stomp on people or whatever. I don't really know. You don't have to make them that big, but I do want to see Giant Man and Ant-Man in the same category. They're the same character, except they have different powers. Giant Man grows big, Ant-Man shrinks, so just add them. And as for healing, I think Janet, her laser beams can heal you. Like I said, similar to Cloak and Dagger, where Cloak, he does damage, Dagger, she heals and does damage. And I think, the Wasp, she can heal you with her laser beams and shoot enemies. And Ant-Man, I don't know, maybe throw disc, maybe even give him a gun, I don't really know how you would implement Ant-Man. I can't really think of him being a very close range character without becoming small, and I also don't know how his abilities would work. But the Wasp, she's easy. Make them similar to Cloak and Dagger, but different enough to the point where they're their own strategists and where they can be extremely fun to play. We already have Iron Fist in the game. Although we don't have Luke Cage, it's time to finish off the event Defenders list. I want to see maybe either Jessica Jones as a duelist and Luke Cage as a tank. I don't know, you can pick either one, but I would pick Luke Cage, because I love Luke Cage. I like Jessica as well, but Luke Cage is the GOAT. Yeah, give me Luke Cage, and I want him to be a tank. I don't want them to give him his comic accuracy. I always say this, but comic accuracy, everybody who is comic purists and who want everything to be one-to-one from page to screen, I respect that. I really do, because I love when things are accurate enough, but I'm also open to something new. I'd like to see how Rivals would maybe change his design up, maybe do something different. Don't stray too far away from the street tier like they did with Daredevil. I know, again, it's for a story purpose and it's a redesign, and I like it, but give him his classic colors, but maybe, I don't know, give him a trench coat instead. maybe a different jacket, maybe, just a tank top. I don't know what they're gonna do, but give him a new design and not one where he wears a tiara on his head. Look, I'm sorry if people are gonna be mad at me for not wanting to keep comic book accuracy 100%. But I don't want him to wear a tiara, bro. Come on. And I guess that's pretty much it for today's video. At least, for today. I appreciate you all for watching and tuning in and listening to me yap about some characters I would like to see. Please like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.